how are you guys doing? Welcome to Level Up Circle TV. Today, we're going to have amazing conversations. YouTube, you're showing up at over 1,000 people already. Welcome. You should see my hair today. It matches my background and my sweater. Yes, yes, yes. You know what color it is? Black. No, I'm just kidding. You know me. I'm a colorful person. Thank you guys so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. Hopefully, you're getting a Dr. Leland dose of energy today with my amazing sister April. And hopefully, we'll have Victoria today. If not, we will tell you all about how amazing Victoria is, right? And really get excited, folks, because 2025 is going to start well with well being. And I'm going to tell you what, let's go ahead and get going and show you what I have for Level Up Academy. So, first things first, this is the edition, last edition for 2024 for my magazine called Level Up Circle magazine. This is the only issue that you will actually purchase this year that will be free for you in December. And then on top of that, every quarter, so March, June, September, I will be knocking on your door to be your accountability partner to see what have you reinvented for 2025. I'm going to write about what your plans are for 2025, and every single quarter I'm going to be your accountability angel, right? And saying, hey, let's go, let's go. I'm going to be mentoring you, pushing you so that we can be leveled up together. Okay, so this is for branding and authority. Obviously, this is both physical and online. If you are international, it's going to be hard for me to mail it to you, but you can definitely get it online. But if you're in the United States, heck yeah, you can get a copy physically. And I will also feature you in our Instagram for social media. And sometimes I will feature you also on YouTube just for your own purposes. So get yours now because I have only, I think, three spots left on this magazine for this year. It's going to come out the first week of January, and let me know and scan it whenever you can. All right. Another thing is we are putting Mike to Millions at 50% off right now for Black Friday sale, but we're going to do it all the way for the next 2 weeks for Christmas. And it will go back up. And this is a book slash journal that I written this year because when I went to, it's called a Millionaires Club that they had workshop in with like A-list celebrities and all that. And what I've learned from branding and authority from personal branding is that you need to have your own podcast, but you can't just open a podcast. There's got to be a strategy to it because so many are opening podcasts, right? I also attended the biggest podcast event that was in Guinness Book World of Record in January of this year and learn a couple of things, meet amazing people. And I've written this journal to help you with tools, platforms, and really digging deep into your own journey of podcasting, right? And today, when you stay at the end, I'm going to give you all the connections in social media that I'm actively in. And I'm going to also give you a QR code of a list of items that I use using Amazon, obviously. And I use to actually buy and set up my own live stream and my own podcast so you can get yours as well. Okay, so that will be towards the end. So, Dr. Leland, what have you done this year? Oh my gosh, I have done, and I'm grateful for so many things. This would not be possible without anybody believing in themselves and believing in Level Up Academy. So, about 2 years alone, this is what happens in the last 2 years, guys. This year is the 4 magazine and about 17 books and journals, actually 18 soon, tomorrow, I think. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Um, 4 books, anthologies, and of course, academic publishing because I love academia. So I have an opportunity for people who have a master's degree and up. I have an academic publishing research opportunity, and it's literally worth 100 grand. But I have managed to let's just say get it super super at bay The only thing that we will have to pay is literally editing, and everything else is going to be in 6 different languages. And I want to research a little cross section of anthropology, which is the culture of people and leadership as we shift to post pandemic with new president, obviously, and how leadership really works. No politics in it, just simply leadership and what is the future of leadership. That's what I want to put into 150,000 distribution all over the world. So if you have a master's degree and I like you, yes, I have to like you, okay? Because we're going to be working at it for the next 3 to 4 months. So that is another one that I want to start with 2025. Another thing that we're starting right now is it is 20% off. And I did went to an audio room like, if you're going to have a discount, perception is your lower quality. Come on. If you already know me, you don't get lower quality from me. I think it depends on the person. Here's what I'll food for thought for you if you're thinking that people who put on their services and everything else on sale that their perception is low quality. Think about this, okay? You guys know Amazon, they're not selling items, they're selling convenience for you. They also, by the way, lower their price, and that's the reason why you are also on Amazon. Okay? Amazon started with selling books 30 years ago. 30 years. They are $1.2 trillion company. Okay? Facebook sells social networking, but now they also have advertising in there. Facebook is at I think no, yes, 1.2 trillion for Amazon, and I think in the billions for Facebook. But guess what? They're 20-year-old company. TikTok is a marriage between Amazon, okay, and Facebook. Their socials and their selling. And guess what? Your Tarte cosmetics that I went to go at Sephora for 55 bucks, I got it at the same place in TikTok because Tarte is also on TikTok, by the way, for 8 bucks. Is it lower? Is the perception the quality is lower? Heck no. It's the same company, but TikTok provides that at a cheap, 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 cheap price at 80%. Do I want to buy it? Of course I do because it's the same company. Is my perception changed? No. Think about it. TikTok is so smart for lowering all their prices at low and get all kinds of businesses. And they're actually $300 billion company. They're not a US company, okay? They're from ByteDance. And guess what? 8-year-old company at 300 billion. So for those of you who says, oh, cheap fries means, lower quality, I disagree 100,000%. Okay, because it's all about giving value. Now, if you don't know how to sell value, that's your problem at that point, right? But sell doesn't necessarily mean perception. You're at the old school thinking and school of thought. Look at the big companies, study them, and then come talk to me. Just saying. Okay. But today, look at these amazing people. They're here today. So we're going to talk about them soon. Again, guys, look at this 50% off. Yes, yes, yes. They are on sale. Doesn't mean you got lower value. It just means I appreciate you and that I am giving this an opportunity for you to get it at a lower price so you can afford and join me. And yes, that is a picture of my family and Ozzy Osbourne's family. Yes, I met them 2.5 months ago in Burbank because they're rock stars, right? And if in order for us to level up, we got to look up, not look down. We got to make sure that when we level up, we look at people who are already level up and kind of study what they do so you can inject it to yourself, not copy because you're the original. Okay? So let's talk to my sisters. Are you guys ready? I hope so. Look at this. We have so much to talk about. Literally, this is all about restorative retreat for purposeful driven women, February 20th to 23rd. But I want you to see this. Look at that. April is so gorgeous. I wish that she stuffed me literally on her luggage. I'll pay her whatever clothes she have in there and just stuff me. I could not breathe. That's fine. That's fine. I'll have some minor oxygen in there. um, Look at this. Isn't it so cool? She does so many cool retreats, starting with Bali, and now in Indonesia. And now she's going to be coming to Victoria's. Okay, so you see this QR code on the dates, February 20th to 23rd. That is the information you can scan about the retreat that's going to happen here in Escondido, California. It's in northern San Diego. Now, That pink Scan Me Please is a video that I actually took when I met Victoria in person in her beautiful, gorgeous, restorative place. There's a video that I put on TikTok about the place with the bedrooms and everything else. So I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to have that scanned. Thank you, YouTube, for being here. 1,068 people already. I know you want to see them, huh? You're like, stop talking, CJ. Just stop. Okay, guys, we're gonna have them up. Hello, sisters.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Okay, so we're gonna start with Victoria because she has never been at Level Up. Victoria, good morning.
Morning. Here, I needed more light.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
So go ahead and introduce yourself. Who is Victoria Shaw and what do you do?
So, who is Victoria Shaw? Oh my God, Victoria Shaw is me. And what do? I do a lot of things and I wear a lot of hats, but I love to call myself, first and foremost, an intuitive counselor and spiritual guide. And I've been on this journey now for about a decade and a half. And about a decade and a half ago, I left, well, a little longer than that. I left a career as an academic psychologist because my passion was gone. And I walked into the door of woo and awakened my intuition. And I've been guiding other purpose-driven women and not women, but definitely a lot of women clients to start to tune into the voice of their soul, the voice of their higher self, the voice of their intuition, and lead their lives from there. And so I've been doing that now for about 15 years. And then the other hat that I wear is I'm the owner of Cactus Blossom Retreat, which is where I'm going to be doing this fantabulous retreat with April coming up in February. And that was a journey that was 100% intuitively guided. I never thought I was going to buy a retreat property. I never thought anything. I just kept getting these little messages and I followed them and I found my way to probably, I think, one of the most beautiful properties in San Diego. So that's me. Does that get
I
it done?
couldn't agree more, for sure. I love the property. When I went there, it was beautiful. It definitely was an ideal place to have a retreat. Just the quietness, the calmness of the place, and the blend of nature and like the place a space where there's nature but there's also like place where you can just breathe, right? And the rooms, I love the little beds. I was like, okay, friends, here we go. I'm always thinking of content. I'm like, well, if you guys are content creators, let's go. And if I'm gonna be there, we're gonna create content the whole entire time. Because that's the thing. It's like, my husband and my kids usually to give me like crap since they were little, like, Mom, stop taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. Now that they're older, they're like, Mom, we're so grateful that you took all these photos because it jogs my memory on those times. And then my daughter tells me, you cannot show some of these videos to my future husband. I'm like, exactly what I'm doing. It's
Oh, yeah.
exactly what I'm doing, right? Because they had this thing where they were wearing my wig. I've been wearing wigs since before they were born. And because I do import nights when I was younger, and I do comic conventions, and my kids are like, so like you're not gonna say, because they had one, my oldest, she's 20 now, she was 2 or 3. She wanted to be Hannah Montana, and then she created a song out of her thoughts about Justin Bieber because he's like in love with Justin Bieber at that time. And I was like, oh, I'm showing this to your future husband. He's gonna be so jealous,
We
like
actually,
with
we
your
actually
picture.
filmed a TV show at Cactus Blossom. My TV show, Living in Alignment with Soul Search Network, was filmed there. We just, season 1, which is all released now, was filmed in July. And season 2, which will be released in March, was filmed in September. So it's definitely a great spot for content creating. And it came out so,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait to have everyone in there. And then Sister April, introduced yourself, like you've been here a while, a lot, really, actually, from being
Yeah.
an author to being here. I want you to introduce yourself, but also kind of seep through your experience in Bali. I want to actually hear about that.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, sister, for having me on. It's always fun and engaging to be with you. And just to see everybody coming in on the little chats in the community. I love it. I love that it's across the globe, and that's what I'm all about, is expanding wellness across the globe. So a little bit about me is, as like Victoria shared, I left the 9 to 5 case manager, social worker gig, and I decided I wanted to work with people who were ready for healing, and maybe they've forgotten who they were. Right? We tend to do that when we're so distracted with our lives, with everything happening in the world, and that really gets us away from ourselves and from our intuition to follow that. So that's what I love to do. That's why I created Living with Intention. So I support people with biodynamic breathwork and trauma release system, Reiki, and also mindfulness techniques, and just basically sitting down and asking what's happening. Where are you at right now? Uh, where do you want to be? How do you want to feel? Because we tend to look outside ourselves and compare ourselves to other people. And that's where we start to dim our lights. Right. So, and this is the reason why I created the Reset and Restore Your Mind and Body in Bali retreat, was to reignite people's lights. And that's exactly what happened. Bali is a magical place. I don't care who you are. You land in Bali and it's like, wow, there is something about this place. And the people are so amazing, compassionate, beautiful, right? They're people, they truly are. And of course, the food and the environment and all of that. So, coming off of Bali and being able to support people with an intensive breath work, though, that was more intensive, Reiki meditations, Osho meditations, guided energy to restore their, energy, and to build that connection back to their mind and body. That was the intention for that retreat. So coming off of that, we're looking at purposeful driven women, women who want more for themselves, but they are unsure, uncertain. Maybe they've given so much of themselves that they've forgotten who they are. They forgot their spark, or maybe they feel that they're at a dead end and they want a little bit more clarity and guidance on how to tune into their intuition. So this is why we created this. And it's so interesting. Victoria and I are also part of mindbodyspirit.fm. And so that's a podcast platform. And that's how we met, through Diane and Tina there. And we became really fast friends. It was like we gelled so well. And when she shared with me about this Cactus Blossom Retreat Center, I was like, ooh, I normally don't do this, but, and she said yes. And then I love how when we say yes to something, right, following our intuition, we didn't know that we would align in Michigan, of all places. She was actually in Michigan. We were talking about content for this retreat, and she says, "Oh, I have to be in Michigan at this time." I'm like, "I'm parked in Michigan. I'm a full-time RVer." And it was like, let's make this happen. So I was able to see her and connect with her for a day, and her beautiful daughter. And we had lunch and we enjoyed a wonderful conversation. And that just really solidified, just really validated the intention for this retreat that's coming up. So that's a little bit about me and how Victoria and I connected. And I'm just so excited for everyone who's even thinking about something like this. You don't have to attend the retreat. Just having that curiosity and wanting more for yourself, that's the key. That's the start. And then things start to open for you. So I'm very excited for this.
Me too. I can't wait for you guys to actually do a retreat in the Philippines.
Oh,
Um, there's a places in the Philippines that definitely would blow away Indonesia's Bali area.
mm,
It is exclusive, and it's the same as, I mean, the most expensive. I don't know if you guys know this. The most expensive place per night is $100,000 a night. It's in the Philippines,
Wow.
in the world,
Isn't that
right?
an island? Like you rent the island?
Yeah. Yeah, and it is owned by, of course, billionaires, but um, it is so crazy. And I told my students, I'm like, guys, 20 of us divided by this much, so we only pay for this much, and we have enough room to like camp in the island. Why not? Like if you really think about it, like, oh my God, $100,000. I'm like, okay, how many people are in here? 50. Okay, let's divide 100,000, 50. You know what I mean? Like you can. It's an island. It's not a room. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole island that you can have. But let me tell you about the amazingness, not just the water and the island, it's the service and it's the people that makes
Yes,
a huge difference.
most
And that's
definitely.
why I love this that you guys connected, because when you connected me with Victoria, we started talking, we are busy, and it's like 7 miles, 6 miles away from my house. I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't know about this thing. Like I knew from April. Like what? And so I started getting ideas, and then I've been telling my friends, even our Hounds of Business community, even 20 people coming in, and coming having a retreat just for us. Like there's so many possibilities, right? And that's why I love connections, true connections, because then you get to really talk about what are some of the possibilities to help each other. Now, I am curious, what exactly is breath work for those of us and all my people listening? And how does it differ from traditional mindfulness or meditation practices? And I want Victoria to start with it. And then, of course, how does your practice, because I know you're going to be teaching at this place as well, right? On the 20th to the 23rd?
Yes, but I can't speak to breath work because that is April's special
April.
sauce. I don't do that at all. I mean, participate. I'm excited, and I've held space for breath work, but it's not my training or my
Your forte. Okay, so tell me then, how is your training going to help this event? What are you going to do there?
I'm going to help people tap into their intuition. And we all have this inner knowing, this inner voice guiding us. And it's always right. It's always spot on. It's always the next thing that we need to do to create more magic and joy and purpose in our lives. And most of us have been taught to go like this and look everywhere else but there. And your intuition is guiding you all the time, whether you recognize it or not. And any great thing that has ever happened to you in your life, any good decision you've made, anytime you're in the flow, anything that just comes naturally to you, anything that you really love to do, all of those things are moments when you are connected with your intuition. But what I do and what I'll do during this retreat is to help women do that more intentionally, more deliberately, start to know, what does my intuition feel like? How can I trust it more? How can I learn the difference between my intuition and all those other voices that are less helpful? And how can I start to use this to really guide my life and enhance my life? And the payback is ginormous. I mean, the moment that I awakened my intuition, everything about my life changed. It changed significantly, it changed radically, and it changed for the better. And it just keeps getting better. So that's in a nutshell what I'm going to do. I'm going to help the women to that participate to learn to live more intuitively. And then I'll also be offering readings, because that's something else that I do, where I will tune into your guidance and your highest self. And I will be the voice for your intuition, because sometimes it's easier to hear these messages when they come out of someone else's lips, right?
Mm.
Because our own minds are so noisy. And and so it's sort of like, a big stadium where everyone's screaming and talking inside your mind, but when the performer goes up on the stage, everything gets quiet, and then we can really listen, right? And we can really hear, and then we say, oh wow, that now that I hear that song, I know it was for me.
Mm.
So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to just welcome you all to this most beautiful, magical space. And, it's, you step on the property and you feel healed. Like you really do. It's really that special. And it called to me. And I've now watched so many people have transformative experiences just from being in that energy and being on that land.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
I went to walk around. I'm like, Victoria opens the swimming pool. I'm like, it's kind of cold to swim right now, but this would be a great idea right now, Victoria, if I wasn't going somewhere. And she's like, I'm gonna go swimming in the, when it gets a little sunny. I'm like, man, I'm jelly, but I gotta go, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And I love that the neighbor is far away. I don't
Yeah.
like neighbors so close,
Yeah.
the drive, when you if you're from another state or country, guys, think about when you think of Beverly Hills. I've been to Beverly Hills so many times, but like that palm trees, and that drive to California, it's there, and I love the driveway, the cactus, the big trees, it's just so beautiful. And Faiza, thank you so much and welcome. I know this is your first time here, so thank you so much for being here. She's like, guided energy. Interesting. Would love to know more about the concept. April, take over.
Guided energy. Well, I believe that when we are still and more present, that's when the guided energy comes in. That's when we can listen to that inner voice, as Victoria was perfectly describing, being in that auditorium and all these voices and noises and, chaos happening in our minds. When we can tune in and tap into that intuition, that's the guidance. And you can think of it as Victoria explained about, working with people's intuition, higher self, source, divine intuition, whatever language you need to substitute that with. That's basically what you're going to be tapping into. And to go back to the breath work, that's my specialty. This is about melting the outer layers of tensions, of the stress. Uh, Everybody has that. Everybody holds that. Our bodies hold so much for us. And until we can pause and do conscious breathing, which is very easy and gentle, guided breath work, I'll be supporting everybody with, then they can actually ease into a more expansive space within. Then that noises and distractions fall away. And that way they can hear that intuition better. They can trust in themselves more and in the process. Because the mind wants to know everything. And I remember, Victoria, it stuck with me when you were on my podcast and you said, if it's unkind, it's the mind.
Right.
And that really stuck with me. So just remembering that it's pre-programmed. That's when we're looking outside ourselves. So the breath work helps us to gain more presence. It's a connected breath. It's not out of your body and breathing really rapidly. It's a very gentle guided breath work that I walk everybody through. And then that is also can be part of mindfulness, because that was part of the question too, of how is my breath? How am I feeling? What sensations am I feeling right now as I'm breathing? Because our bodies are amazing, right? We have this powerful nervous system that is always sensing, are we safe? Am I safe? Is this a threat? And if we feel that we're in threat or on the hamster wheel, if I have to do in order to prove my worth, that's not safe, right? It's that carrot, right? That we never get, the carrot in front of the horse. And so when we slow down with the breath, with the Reiki meditations that I'll be guiding everybody through, then that's when we're in that more calm, peaceful state to where we can make those meaningful connections with others and ourselves. And that's what's I'm very excited about for this Purposeful Driven Women, is these beautiful souls coming together as strangers. They're going to leave as long-lasting friends. Guaranteed. That's what happens with all these retreats, the day retreats I've done, the Bali retreat. People are amazed at how well they gel with other people in these spaces, because it's a sanctuary of support that we're creating, and that's our intention.
Yeah, I love how you guys mesh together because not like my brain just kind of gone through there. Um, when you are actually moved your environment, because what you have done is you implanted them. They're planted here where we're at. We're not happy, we're not satisfied, we're whatever, or maybe we're just happy but not really satisfied with life or contented. So what you have done is you took them out of that environment and show them that there are possibilities if you do. That means actionable things. Not only did you just do and show, but you guided them, right? Basically through this process and said, yes, this is possible. And thank you for your commitment to level yourself up to this point, right? And then I love that Victoria is going to come in saying, okay, now that you have done this, let's go microscopic level, right? And then build what you already have within yourself of intuition and literally get into that. So, Victoria, I know you're told about intuition. Um, how, okay, so what does the science, because I know you're also academic, about impact of mindfulness on stress reduction, mental clarity, overall health, on intuition? Because here's the thing, I think 2 weeks ago, um, I got a lesson on intuition, like a big lesson, like an aha moment, right? Like an epiphany, literally. I woke up, I'm like, it took me this long to actually get that I was right all along, because that validation that you sometimes I still kind of need. And I'm like, dude, you had it all along. Why? Like I was talking to myself, answering myself. People are probably thinking, God, CJ, you're crazy. I'm like, okay, I have ADHD moments. So anyway, and I talked about the 10 things about being, magnanimous, intuitive person when you listen to your gut to literally tell you, listen, right? This is not for you. But somehow I don't know if I have an oppositional disorder or whatever, right? To like, no, I like this person. They're fine. They're safe. Like I'm talking to myself and I don't listen. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, dude, you were right all along. What's wrong with you? So I want you to tell me, how can I hone in? Me personally, I'm being selfish right now,
Cool.
actually. I'm asking this question. How can I solidify that inner piece of me, that inner critic, just shut up for a moment and said, listen to your gut because it literally tries to protect you and your self peace.
All right, I'm going to speak generally first, but then if you want, I will tune in specifically to you and see what comes through from your guidance. But generally, I'm going to say number one, most of us have not been taught to listen to our guts. Okay. As children, we are totally plugged into our intuition. And then usually early on, we have a thought, we know something, we bring it to a caregiver, we share it with them, and they tell us, how do you know that? That's not true. That's not nice. That's not okay. And we shut it down. And, so we have the society, the world has taught us to disregard this great bit of knowing that we all have. Women, on top of that, because you brought up a very specific, situation with a person, women have often been taught that it's not nice not to like someone. It's not nice to trust your own inclinations, right? We've often been taught to put our needs last in our personal relationships. Okay, so that can come into play too. And, one of the things, and both April and I have clinical training, right? One of the things that we're supposed to teach children, but some of it's unteaching is, trust your vibes. If Uncle Jimmy gives you the creeps, you're not being mean, right? You're being intuitive, something. But we don't give ourselves permission to do that enough. And we do know, and sometimes it's not anything creepy at all. It's just like, this person isn't right for me. This isn't a good fit, right? We don't have to even judge someone, good or bad, right or wrong, to say, ooh, this doesn't feel good, right? And that's what's really important to know too. Intuition is not a judgment. It's not a judgment of someone else, right? It's just knowing what feels right for us. I was with my chiropractor yesterday and talking about how I tune in, and she was referring someone in her office, and I said, that person doesn't gel with me. Nothing wrong with them. I would love that person to work with me, but when I tune in, it doesn't feel right. And she said to me, I'm so honored that I test well for you intuitively. And I said, I wouldn't be. Like, I mean, she's awesome and she's great, but I was like, it's just fit. It's just what feels right for me. It's not a judgment. And she's awesome. But so I hope that that in general helps. And so, in general, what we need to do is listen to ourselves more and create that safe space that maybe wasn't nurtured for ourselves as a child and isn't always nurtured in society, just to listen. And listening is the first step. And by the way, you can listen and not act on it. Sometimes that's okay. Just don't argue with it. You can say, I have a weird vibe, but I still really want it to work out with this person. So I'm going to keep trying, right? But it's that space of listening and being curious and allowing that voice to have its say, even if you're not ready to follow it yet. That's where you start to create the space for your intuition to shine. Okay. And then, Dr. Constance, if you would like me to, Dr. Leland, sorry, if you would like me to give you what comes through for you, I can.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Why not? Only 2,000 people watching. It's fine. It's
When I
fine.
tune into your energy, what I get, my beautiful friend, is you really like to be right. You really like to be right. And so sometimes when you have a hunch that takes you in a certain direction, and then it feels like maybe that wasn't the right choice, you can be a little bit stubborn with yourself. You know what I mean? Because you really want to be right. And I would invite you to soften that a little bit because you're always right. You're always right. Every choice that you make is an inspired choice. And you especially are like that, but it's true for everyone. And just sometimes as we move forward in the world, we continue to gather more information. And as we gather more information, we see things more clearly and we see things differently. It's part of the growth process. It's part of the expansion process. It's not right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just we're going to always continue to change. And so you may have been right in your initial draw to this person or to this, I'm speaking generally now, this situation, this way of viewing things. But as you grow, if you keep listening, your perspective might change. You might need different things. So I think for you, if you release the need to be right or wrong and look at this as a big play fest, and more specifically for you, look at those moments when everything aligns and you've just, because you are very like, you're kind of have that rainmaker personality. There are times when you're just like, I want to do this, I'm going to do this, and this is how it's going to go. And then it flows like effortlessly. That's your intuition, right? That's your intuition aligning with everything. And just give yourself permission to change your mind, right? Because you may flow in one direction and that's amazing. And you know this from how you've built your business. And then other moments you're like, yeah, that's not really going. I'm going to go over there now. Okay. Does that make sense? And you can
Yeah,
do that internally too with your intuition. Just allow it to flow.
I think I want to be wrong. Like, I feel like this is not correct. Why am I always right on my intuition? So I want to be wrong.
You want to be
And
wrong?
yeah, so I actually like, so with my sisters, I'm like, please tell me I'm wrong. Like, I'm wrong, right? For thinking this way. And then all of them, like two of them really says, no, CJ, we see it too. You're right. I'm like, oh, dang it. I don't want to be right. You know what I mean? Like,
What doesn't
I
hurt
wanted
your
to be
heart with
wrong.
this situation?
Yeah, I think what it is that I have really high intuition because I think from the age 5 I grew up. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but we get bombed, right? When we're eating dinner, our whole entire table would just flow, and Muslims and Christians in the Philippines were always having issues. And so even when we're eating dinner, we don't have any electricity, and our it's fight or flight, and our grandfather has always taught us, because I grew up in a farm where we're always about, if you get caught, you can't survive. Like, that was the whole mentality thing, right? So the what if situation, like the SWAT team that I talk to all the time for advice, when you're in that intense situation, you know that you could die at that moment. There is a possibility. What do you do to prepare for that? Because that's all I know, is always to prepare, die or fight, right? There was no flight. There was no option for flight. And so it kind of bleed through my personality growing up, because I was an angry person, because I was abandoned as a kid. Literally, I didn't grow up with parents. So it's always fight. It's not an option to flight. So my intuition has always been built, because I watch people, I see people, I study people, I sit, I watch their behavior, I look at their actions, or the non-actions, or the lack thereof. So I know people's behavior that they're not even seeing, that I'm watching. So I've always built this since I was 5, right? I'm all close to 50. So I'm like, I know my intuition is right, but I really want to be wrong. Please tell me. But before you say anything, I'm going to give you all the situations. And my sister's like, CJ, you're right. Just give up on this situation. I'm like, but I don't want to give up on this person. And now I realize that I'm giving people level 10 access to me when they're actually not ready and they need to be at level 2 or at level 3. It's not their fault. It's more of me not creating that boundaries of not giving too much access. So I have learned that. I was like, okay, I can adjust. Yep, yep, yep. I'm doing this right now. So that's why I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to be asking Victoria this because I really want to know. Um, yeah.
And it's not a judgment. Again, it's just, and sometimes we don't want to know something because we want something to work out, right? You know, I'm single again, and you go on a date and you're like, "Oh, I want to like red flag," right? And you don't want to know what you know because you know you're hopeful. But it's okay. And sometimes you're like red flag, and you go on the date anyway, and you're like, "Oh God," you
I
know.
was right all along.
I can't
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that way. I don't usually go on the date. I don't even usually swipe right, you know, or left or whatever the good one is.
Scroll up, scroll up.
Right. And sometimes too, I get the guys going, "What does your intuition say about me?" in the first line, and I'm just like, "You don't want to know that." We're not starting there, bye. But the deal is, yeah. Sometimes we just don't want to listen, you know, because we want the thing to work out. It hurts our heart a little bit to have that information, right? And that's okay. Just be gentle with yourself.
Oh man, I'm trying. I'm trying so hard to be gentle with myself because I am very hard on myself. But there's no sense of beating up myself because then I can't move on and I get debilitating like stop, CJ, stop. And I can't do nothing, right? And there's a lot of people that will tell you otherwise. So I just stopped listening to people, period.
Yeah.
And I just list down, I'm all about pros and cons. And what's the center of it is kindness to me and kindness to others. And so I've learned to just shut my mouth and not say nothing. And again, I think I definitely, I'm like, oh wow, check me out, I've grown. Like I was like telling myself that yesterday, like a 5 year old, I'm like, wow, CJ, you're not doing fighting anymore, you're just there neutral. I'm like, this feels good, I don't have to worry about anything. So I was pretty happy with how I have grown mini little self. I'm like, wow, this is what it feels like to grow up and not really like do anything and people please and do any of that stuff. So I cannot wait to see you guys again for Victoria because I've met her already once to be on this event. April, can you tell us a little bit more about this event in terms of the days and the plans and things like that?
Oh, yes. Thank you. And I love this conversation. And thank you, CJ, for being vulnerable and open, allowing Victoria to support you with that reading, because that just shows, right? You are a purposeful, driven woman, right? You're one of the leading people that I know. And for you to ask and to receive it is perfect. And this is what we're here to do for this retreat. Actually, that was a prime example, seriously. And so not only just Victoria offering the workshop to help us all, and I'm going to participate in that. So like Victoria said, oh, I can't wait to do the breath work and the Reiki. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do the intuition workshop and the group experience with her. But also we want to create that space for people to have experiences that maybe they've wanted to and haven't had the opportunity, or haven't had the opportunity to give back to themselves as much. And so we're having some sound healing. We're having a sound healer come in, and what that looks like is crystal bowls they play, and we'll be either seated or in a lying position and just receiving the frequency of the bowls. and then also gentle yoga practice for those who are interested, and moving the body and breathing. That's so important, right? We don't move our bodies enough. And also, Victoria is going to guide us on a mindfulness hike as well on her beautiful property there. And so we're sprinkling in all these wonderful little experiences on top of those main areas that you see that you listed right on the social, and also on the website, on my website, livingwithintention.co. You'll see a little tab. It says retreats, or scan that QR code that CJ had in the beginning of the show, and that'll take you right to the site. And what's beautiful about it is from February 20th, that's a Thursday afternoon, through Sunday noon, we're having these amazing days together. And so we have this, I can't wait, because I saw the menu already. This amazing, I keep saying amazing, this fabulous chef come in, and he's going to prepare um, wonderful, nutritious meals. We're also having on Saturday, we're having wine tasting from a local winery come in. We're kind of, just sprinkling in all the things that women like to do together. So, and other things too. So I don't want to say all the things at once, because they'll receive more information on the emails once they register. And what that looks like is we ask to register and pay the refundable deposit up front. And then after that, you are set up with a payment plan. So early bird ends December 31st. And you'll see those prices on the website, the early bird and the regular pricing. So after December 31st, it'll go to the regular pricing. So now's a good time to take advantage of that. If you are a challenging person to purchase or to buy Christmas presents for, what a wonderful gift, right? Either to give to yourself or mention to your significant other or friends or family to give to you. That would be amazing to receive a gift this holiday for this retreat. I can't think of it a better retreat. I would want this gift for myself as well. So that's something to think about, to consider. I forgot the other questions that you asked, CJ, but that's basically it in a nutshell. And we're here to answer any questions you might have, any concerns, anything. Please reach out to myself or Victoria. You can reach me through LinkedIn, on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, April Wyatt, Living with Intention. And that's what we are here for. We're here for you. And again, if this retreat sounds like something you would love or want to share with a friend, wouldn't that be wonderful to share a room with a best friend on this retreat? I know I would love to do that. In fact, my best friend is showing up. So I'm very excited to see her in San Diego as well. So
Yeah, I can't wait to actually join in, because it's a lifetime, people that you want to, this is for me, it's like part of belonging, right? Honestly, this is where you find belonging of peace. If you want peace, you want restoration, you want a reset button for yourself, this is it. And you started in 2025 in February, the very first quarter of the year. You start already well. So I added a QR code in here, guys. That is the website for April's retreat. If you can't find April Wyatt, you should if you Google it. Okay. Just DM me. I will put you to April. But honestly, what I love about it is, a lot of people always think about the money situation, because right now it's Christmas, it's a holiday, money is tight and whatnot. But you're buying all of these things, and I should be the one telling you, I buy all these things, right? And if you really think about it, you're buying not only your mind and your body and your peace, but you're buying a lifetime of memories. That's what you're buying. Something that is not tangible to you, but it will never happen again. It's only that moment. And they're like, oh, we can have another one. It's not the same. The people, the whole vibe of the people who's going to join, right? The whole situation with the preparation, the intentions that Victoria is putting into this and April, right, is different. This is the first of many, but there could be more. But the problem is with more is different people, different vibe, different food, different plans, right? And Victoria have seen this because she does this all the time with her business, is different people and the character and the intentions make a huge difference on any event, right? If you start with a standard of perfection, you know something's bad's going to happen because there's no such thing as perfect. But if you start with no intentions of expectations but just be blessed to receive, that is the best way to do it, because if anything happens, bad or good or indifferent, you're grateful anyway. You're grateful anyway. So I always tell people that do not start with my expectations. No one cares about your expectations. It's not going to be 100%. But guys, I cannot wait. I've seen the place. I have known April for a while now in the house of business, and Victoria, I've only known her now. But for all of you San Diego people, Nicole, if you're still here, I know you're in there, but you came to the gala. You can come to this one in February. I'm just saying, okay? I'm trying to get Agape to come in. I'm trying to get all the sisters in San Diego to come in and really enjoy the process of mindfulness through actionable steps. So thank you ladies for being here today. Thank you everybody for staying all the way at the end. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Be blessed today. Bye everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much. Be
Thank
well.
you. Bye.